Hello and welcome. You're watching Markets Today. I'm Sakshi Batra, and this is where we discuss everything about the stock market's closing action. Also, I'll help you understand how the day really panned out in trade, where were the gains and losses seen, and what should be your investment strategy going forward from here. What are experts really talking about the direction the markets are likely to take? All of that coming up over the next 4 to 5 minutes. So do stay tuned. On to with me. First up, the closing levels for the markets. Well, the markets have actually slipped into the red for the third straight session. In today's trading session, we've again seen some slippage coming in on the back of the continuous sell off being seen across the globe. US markets, Asian markets, and the markets did open with another gap down today. At close, we've seen the Sensex closing with 153 points or 0.3% lower at 52,693 now. The Nifty also was down 42 odd points or 0.3% in trade to end the day at below, in fact, 15,700. So that's the kind of level that you saw on the Nifty too. About 1,500 shares advanced in trade today, but 1730 shares declined. So the market were clearly favoring the bears at this point in time. In terms of specific stocks, you had the likes of Bajaj Auto, IndusInd Bank, Hindalco, ONGC, and Tech Mahindra among the top losers today. On the other hand, gaining stocks included the likes of NTPC, Mahindra and Mahindra, Bharti Airtel, Apollo Hospitals, and Divis Laboratories. Now, also among the sectors, we did see that autos, metals, and oil and gas ended in the red, while capital goods, power, and realty indices managed to end higher despite the overall weakness in the markets. The broader markets, too, the mid and the small cap indices managed to end marginally lower in today's trading session, too. Now, of course, we have seen that there is a sell off on the back of raging inflation. Traders are braced for aggressive rate hikes from the Federal Reserve. Now, going forward from here, all eyes are on the US Fed after the US inflation really. Touched 8.6%, a 40-year high as well. The biggest interest rate hike since 1994 is already getting baked into the bets in the US markets too, and that's getting trickled into the global markets. Indian stock markets, another rough day for us right here. Because we did see the Sensex and the Nifty slipping into the red, but also we saw data including a wholesale-based inflation measure that came in today at a record level of 15.88%. So inflation not just bothering US but back home as well. We did see yesterday the CPI inflation coming in at 7.04%, slightly cooling off from the previous month, but the WPI inflation continues to rage on further. Now, as we see, most of the crypto markets are also under pressure at this point in time. The commodities are seeing lackluster trade too. So it's not just one asset that is getting hammered. You can actually see a trickle down effect into across asset classes at this point in time. Now, most of the experts do believe that at this kind of a volatility may actually continue for some more days to come before the markets really stabilize at their current level or the current zone to find some support near 15,700 as per the technical experts, and only then can we expect some kind of a bounce from these levels too. But most of the experts believe for long term investors these could be opportunity times to look at some select stocks to add to their portfolio, start accumulating these stocks as well. Vinod Nair, who is the head of research at Georgette Financial Services, did say that domestic market restrained from heavy sell off as the CPI data moderated on a month on month basis. That had a calming down effect against the global volatility. However, the WPI data continued to dominate on the broader markets, which is cautious and awaiting tomorrow's outcome of the US Fed policy. He also believes that earlier the global market was anticipating a 50 basis point hike, but now it is worried about a higher rate hike due to the persistent US inflation. So that's kind of a big concern at this point. In terms of other stocks that were in focus today, like I said, Bajaj Auto was down 5%. Of course, there's news coming in that the company may be deferring their decision for a buyback. So that's causing some kind of a decline today. Apart from this, GR Infra dropped 23% in two sessions after the CBI rates. That's another negative news coming in. Apart from this, Adani Enterprises, in fact, jumped 3% as Total Energies was to pick a stake in the arm as well. Total Energies is likely to buy 25% stake in Adani New Industries. So that's a bit of a positive. So select stocks, reacting to the news flows in today's trading session. We also saw that Life Insurance Corporation has increased its stake in the non-banking finance company Capri Global Capital over 7%. So that company, the stock was in focus, up 0.7% in trade today. Capri Global Capital also, in fact, was down 0.6% in trade. Crude oil futures again are gaining on some spot demand. So we'll have to keep an eye out on how the crude oil prices really hover going forward from here. Dr. Reddy's was in focus as the company said it is going to be launching a drug which is used in the treatment of various cancers in the US markets after getting an approval from the US FDA. So, positive development right there for Dr. Reddy's. All of those important factors will be, very, very, very important to track even as we move forward. Very select stocks will be perhaps moving, but the overall market breadth likely to still remain in a lackluster mode, and a range bound trade is expected even as we move forward until and unless we get the US Fed decision out of the way now. Keep an eye out on all the developments right here, and I'll keep bringing you all the developments from D Street as well. So do stay tuned on to Business Today TV. Even as the markets close, the news flows will continue from the world of business, so don't go anywhere.